If we're not at a Disney park, we're dreaming about being there, and a cup of Joffrey's Coffee Disney Blend helps. But what about when you're at a Disney park? The Joffrey's Disney Kiosk and Restaurant Locator will make sure you never miss out. Whether it's a cool drink on a hot summer vacation or a great cup of coffee at a Disney signature restaurant, Joffrey's has you covered. Check it out at Joffreys.com.
So, Bob and Tim, this is Sean Connery, also known as Henry Jones, Sr. Now, my son Junior could very well be taking over the dinosaur ride. This is what they might call a rumor, mystical sounding. You know, the kind of stuff that Indiana Jones specializes in. Indiana. We named the dog Indiana. Really what it comes down to is the penitent man needs to pass this test. The penitent man must kneel before Iger. Because Big Bobby makes all of the final yeses and nos. In the meantime, I guess what we'll do is stand clear of the doors. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your show. The ResortLoop.com podcast starts now.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Ladies and gentlemen, if there are guests waiting to board, please move across your car to make room for everyone, and kindly offer available seating to those needing special assistance.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
I'm Bob Collar.
Bob, this is episode 470. How about our open?
How about that?
Oh.
Sean Connery, I told you.
You did.
I would have something to say about Indiana Jones. Yeah. I forgot they named the dog Indiana. Yeah. So we've got a special contact that gets us in contact with Sean Connery. Who's that guy that gets us in contact?
Apparently, Mr. Scott Danziger is a close friend.
Apparently,
so it's good. It's good that we know people that know people.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, what would that be, like 16 separations from Sean Connery? I don't know what that would be. Anyway,
it's something. 16.
Something. Anyway, well, welcome to the show, everybody. What do you got over there, Tim?
Before we start off the show, we have a new review over at iTunes.
Woohoo!
I'd like to share. This is by our friends at Disney Discussions. They say, frequent shows, moves quickly, and very entertaining. Keep it up.
There you go.
Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. So if you guys would want to throw in a review over there at iTunes, we would certainly appreciate it. And I've got a couple of housekeeping things before we jump into the show, Tim.
Good.
If we can do that. First off, our last show open from Jacob.
Yes.
Remember that?
I didn't remember it as well as I thought I did.
No, right? Exactly, right? So we apologize, Jacob. We kept saying you were over at T-Traders when Jacob clearly said he was at the TTC.
Right. At the Joffrey's cart there.
We needed some Joffreys at that point, Jacob. So we're sorry. We do listen.
We do.
But we were both kind of tired.
It was a long day that day.
It had been a very long day. So, Jacob, thank you for the show open as well, and of course Sean Connery, friend of Scott Danziger. How would people give us a show open, Tim, if they wanted to do that?
If you would like to send us a show open that we will try not to butcher, is area code 414
WDW
Loop.
All right. So I got one more housekeeping that I got to take care of, and this goes back to the last show as well. Mm-hmm. I forgot one of the one tips. I know.
Oh.
I try and put these all together.
You try.
We had such a great response from everybody.
Incredible.
That I actually missed one. So here's one that I missed. This person says, my one tip for taking pictures isn't a place.
Oh.
It's how I've been able to get pictures with very few, sometimes even zero people in the shots. It turns out you can get a dining reservation at some of the restaurants inside the parks for times before the park fully opens. Once you check in at the gate, You can enter the park and wander about in an almost empty park and take pictures that most people didn't know they could get. For example, on one of our trips, Deb and I had reservations at the Garden Grill at Epcot well before the park opened. We were allowed in the park about an hour before our reservation, and I was able to take pictures of Spaceship Earth, the monorail, and the fountains, and there were no other people in the shots. It was awesome.
Sweet.
And that comes from an incredible photographer, a good friend of the show, and believe it or not, Tim,
yes,
our guest today.
Get out.
I will not get out. We'd like to welcome a good pal of the show, Monico Havier, to the show. Monico, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me on today. I really appreciate it, Tim and Bob.
Oh, our pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, our pleasure. So you posted some fantastic pictures on the Facebook page for showing how you get into the parks. Now, truth be told, you take pictures for a living, right?
That is correct. Yes. I'm a designer and a photographer. I live just outside of Washington, D.C. So, yeah, maybe I have a slight advantage there, but in an empty park, it's literally like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, you've got just an amazing area in front of you. You point your camera at it, you take the picture, and it's definitely easier when there's a lot less people in there.
Right. And we wanted to kind of carry over our last show with this show because everybody has ideas on how to take great pictures at Walt Disney World. A lot of great ideas we got from the last show. But we wanted to get Monico on to kind of give us an idea. What exactly, when you're taking pictures at Walt Disney World, other than an empty park, what do you kind of look for when you want to take pictures at any of the Disney parks, actually?
I tell you, it's a funny thing. It's a great question. And if you would have asked me that question 5 years ago, I probably would have given you a different answer. I've found personally that the more I go to the parks, the more my photography in the parks evolves. So at the very first time, you're overwhelmed by the castle or the giant golf ball or whatever the big icon is, and you take pictures of it. But as you continue to go more and more, you start seeing all these little details and all these things right down to the food you may eat or the drink you may have. So you just continue to take more and more pictures, and you learn from those pictures. And what I try and do personally is use those pictures to try and effectively tell stories to get other people to say, hey, that looks great. I think I want to go there.
There you go. Now, a lot of people, they just want to take pictures, obviously, with their cell phones because the cell phone it does everything for us now. Any good tips on like cell phone? Do you take any pictures with your cell phone first off?
I got to tell you that's again a great question. And if my girlfriend Deb were on the show, she would be giving me a look right now because I'm a person that takes a camera almost everywhere. And when I'm doing that, I may be paying less attention to my girlfriend and we're not having as much fun. So she pretty much demands that I have a camera-free day anytime we go to the park. And on those days, yeah, I'm just taking pictures with my iPhone, just any great cell phone, because like you say, they've gotten really good. So yeah, I take pictures with my phone all the time.
What's your favorite park to take pictures in?
Oh, geez. What's my favorite child? And I don't even have children, so come on. I think it's, I know I've said this on your social media before, but my personal favorite park is Animal Kingdom. Obviously, I love the Magic Kingdom, and Epcot's a great park. Right now, the state of Hollywood Studios has me not even mentioning it anymore, but I just kind of have this personal connection with Animal Kingdom. I think it's a beautiful park. I'm a wildlife photographer. It's one of those places that appeals to me personally, so I love that park.
Okay. What within Animal Kingdom, what areas at Animal Kingdom do you recommend for people to go and get great pictures?
Well, the obvious one right now is Pandora. It's brand new. It's the shiny latest and greatest, and there's definitely lots of things to take pictures of there. My personal favorite, though, I like getting back into the Africa section, walking the trails, being in the Harambe Market area. You've got performers, you've got all sorts of things happening back there. Everything's a great backdrop. So if you're taking pictures of the park or you're getting pictures of your family, I just think that's a great area. And then this throughout the entire park, having that giant Everest ride in the background makes for a great shot. And there's almost no place you can be in there that isn't going to make for a great picture.
Do you ever cheat? Now, my daughter took a picture of the prayer flags on, in the queue of Everest as you're going through the queue, with Everest in the background. And whenever her friends would come over, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's when I was in Tibet." Do you ever cheat and take a picture and go, I could get away with making this look like I was actually in Africa?
Yeah, I could certainly do that. One of the things I do is I also teach Photoshop to people. My background is in digital image manipulation, so it would be very easy for me to do that. But I worry a little bit that my credibility might take a hit if somebody found out.
Right.
So, no, I'd rather just go to Africa. And, it's better to really go to those places and do as little of that kind of stuff as possible. I mean, I'm not beyond a little cheat here or there, but I've never told people here I am in Africa. That certainly hasn't happened yet.
No, I'm sure you wouldn't. So anyway, back to the cell phones. What tips do you have for folks that are just carrying that cell phone with them to get just a really nice picture that they might want to, blow up to an 8x10 or something to put on the wall?
Well, I've found cameras right now are really good, and there's pretty much, you launch the camera app, you hit the button, it takes a picture. Now, if you want to go to the next level, there are some really great devices out there. I have a personal favorite from a company called Clip. And what it is it takes your camera phone. It would clip right onto my iPhone. And instead of the standard lens, it gives me a little bit wider shot. So instead of the same picture that everybody might take if they were standing in the same spot, my camera phone with that little accessory can get a little bit wider shot. And I think that's a really neat thing. And the other thing I like about it is it can be used on the front or the back camera. So when we're taking selfies with characters, we have a little bit wider angle lens on there. That means that a gigantic head of a character like Stitch could still have both my girlfriend and me in that same selfie shot. And that's nearly impossible without an accessory lens like that.
Oh, okay. What's the name of that again?
It's made by a company called Clip. And we can, maybe I'll write up a quick review on the blog so that people can see exactly what it looks like. Yeah. Maybe we'll give an Amazon link so that people can get one. They're under $100. I think I spent maybe $70 for mine.
Oh, nice.
But I use it all the time. I think it's just a really fun way to get a little bit different picture with the same iPhone everybody else has.
Well, that's a great idea too, with the banning of the selfie sticks. Your arms are only so long.
Exactly. That's why we use them all the time when we're taking these character shots. Stitch was one example. Any of the characters with gigantic heads, it's just, here's one. This is going to get a little bit off the beaten path, but last year my girlfriend and I went over to Disneyland Paris, and there were a couple characters there that we don't have here in the United States. One of them was Jafar from Aladdin, and that was a character with a gigantic head. And getting a selfie with that character was not going to happen without some kind of extra accessory on our phone to get a little bit more of us in the shot. So when you've got those characters, you want to take some selfies with them and get everybody into that shot. A little accessory like that will go a long ways.
What kind of you don't always carry a cell phone. What other camera do you use? What's your normal theme park camera?
Again, this is one of those questions that if you'd have asked me 5 years ago, you'd have gotten a different answer. Partially because the technology in cameras has changed a lot, and the attitude I have personally has changed quite a bit. And 5-7 years ago, I would have had my big professional digital camera with big lenses, and by the end of the day, my shoulder would have been killing me. So the cameras I really like today are these little point and shoots that are a little bit nicer than what you're going to get in your phone. Or I really like these cameras that are what we call mirrorless cameras. They don't have all that big size of a big professional camera. They're much smaller, but you can also change lenses to get those really wide shots or zoom in on things. They're really high resolution. And one of my favorite features that they have is they have a built-in Wi-Fi system that lets you connect directly to your phone. So if I take a really good picture with my mirrorless camera, I can shoot that thing over to my phone, do a real quick edit, and put it right on social media. So
Oh, wow.
those are the cameras that are really popular today. It really comes down to how interested you are in taking your photography to the next level and whether you want to invest money in it. Because cameras just aren't cheap. They're cheaper than they were years ago, and the performance is awesome. But what you can do with a camera phone is great. If you want to take it to the next level, that's going to cost you a little bit of money, and that might be the difference between a good meal at Disney World or a signature meal in Disney World.
Now, you've been a photographer a while. Isn't it nice that you don't have to worry about buying film, though?
Yeah, it's funny. A good friend of mine, Jade, and he's actually down in Florida. We catch up all the time, and he's a longtime photographer. And he found this is a really long story, but the very first camera I received was about 30 years ago. My grandmother gave me this camera as a gift. He was able to find the same model of camera, not the camera, but that same model of film camera on eBay. He bought it and sent it to me as a gift, and now I have this film camera sitting here that maybe someday I'll see if I can find some film for it. But no, I don't miss film. It's certainly a lot nicer to take thousands of pictures on a memory card instead of 24 exposures on a roll of film.
Right. And then hope they're okay when you get it developed.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, again, like anything you do a whole lot, you get to the point where you just know what settings to use and you trust in your technique, whether it's photography or cooking or any of the different things you do out there. So if you were a film photographer, you developed your techniques and you were just fine. But boy, it is nice to be able to see that picture instantly on the back of your camera right there on your phone and know, oh, it didn't turn out or it wasn't quite in focus. Let's do that one more time.
Right. Or Tim blinked. I always hear that one.
Yeah, there's always that. I tend, and this is one of those photography things, but most professional photographers are going to take 2 or 3 shots of the exact same thing just to make sure that doesn't happen. And now that we live in this digital world, you can download an app on your phone that can take 2 pictures and combine them so that if one person has their eyes closed in one shot and someone in another shot has their eyes, you could just combine them and make it look like everybody is in one shot with their eyes open. So even that's something you don't have to worry about too much these days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we're going to make everybody that's listening and everybody that likes to take pictures on their vacations feel good. How many pictures do you take, and how many do you like of the pictures you take?
That's a tough question. I'm not one to say the exact number of pictures that are taken on a trip, but it's a lot. And it's not that the pictures are not good, it's that they may not be right for how I want to tell my story. So even though I may take hundreds upon hundreds of pictures while I'm in a park, there just may not be a use for them, so I'm not going to share those on social media, or they're just never going to see the light of day because I take a lot of coverage pictures. I'm always thinking about storytelling with my photography. So I'll take a picture whether I think I need it or not. And I guess if I'm going to answer your question very specifically, I think the last trip to Disney World, I was somewhere between maybe 3,000 and 4,000 total pictures taken. Of those, I may have shared 10.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So, people need to know that just go have fun, take pictures, so they're not all of them turn out. You got some blurry ones or you got somebody in the background, photobombing you.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen no matter what. I mean, you're literally in a park filled with tens of thousands of people. The odds of you getting an absolutely perfect shot are kind of low. And for me, I like to, when I'm on vacation, when I'm in a Disney park, I like to try and leave as much of that stressful stuff behind. So I'm not thinking about that perfect picture, the perfect lighting, the perfect weather. I'm there to have fun and have a good time. And if we're being honest about it, we spent good money to be there and have a good time. So having something as minor as a bad picture bring the entire vacation down, I'm not going to, I can't be like that. I need to enjoy myself a little bit and not stress about bad pictures.
Right. And I like the idea of going into the parks without the camera, and that includes the video camera, because Tim and I are video guys for the most part. When we go to Walt Disney World with our families, I know I am. I used to spend I can't even imagine 60% of my time behind the camera,
right,
shooting every second. And you get home and you're watching and you're going, oh, I don't remember seeing that, you know. So I like that idea of not having to go in constantly and always looking for that perfect. But you got to enjoy that vacation too.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely times where you just need to put the camera down, put the phone down, enjoy that amazing dinner, have fun on that ride, watch the fireworks, and we'll not even go into that, because there's one thing I don't like. It's looking at the back of everybody's phones while I'm trying to see the fireworks going off. So, yeah, there are times you just have to put the equipment away and have fun and be with friends and family and enjoy yourself. And I would probably be dragged into that mode of thinking, kicking and screaming. All credit really needs to go to my girlfriend, Deb. She's the one that will just say, is today the camera-free day? Come on, just put the camera away. Let's just try and enjoy ourselves today.
Sure.
Absolutely. Sure. Now, you talked a little about fireworks. If somebody wants to take pictures of fireworks, just a couple snapshots, because I would hate to take a bunch of, you want a couple. What are your tips? Either using a cell phone or like a regular camera.
Cell phones are tough. I mean, the real trick to getting good-looking fireworks pictures, whether they're in a Disney park, a 4th of July, any kind of celebration where you're going to have that kind of stuff, the fireworks shots that people are accustomed to seeing are usually what we call long exposure shots, meaning the shutter for the camera's been open a good 2, 3, 4 seconds. And they look good because nothing is moving in that shot. And that happens by really locking your camera down with a tripod, or sometimes I'll find a garbage can and physically set my camera on it to keep it steady. But what happens is, for cell phones, they don't really understand what you're trying to do necessarily, and that's where you get all that movement and blur. So if I'm taking a picture and it's specifically fireworks, I guess the best tip I have for you there would be to look into things like the dessert parties. Some of the best fireworks shots I've had have been because I'm in this separated area where I've spent money to enjoy all these desserts, and be in an area not on Main Street necessarily, but a little bit off the beaten path. I can now set up my tripod and not worry about people running into me or being in other people's ways. And then I can get these shots that are 2-3 seconds long of just beautiful fireworks, because I'm using a tripod and I've got my camera locked down and I'm getting a nice long exposure shot.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, absolutely.
Use the dessert party as a place to set up. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know about all of them, like the Star Wars one I went to, but what I've been trying to do lately, and this is, again, my own evolution as a photographer and a Disney park vacation goer, is to try and enjoy the moment without my equipment and just use my eyes. And I didn't try it at the Star Wars party, but I could see where it would have worked great. And the last dessert party we went to, I think, was probably half the price of what they're getting for it now. So it used to be a very easy recommendation. Now you have to figure out whether it's going to fit in the budget or not, just to get some fireworks pictures.
Right.
How do you feel about flash photography and dark rides?
Oh, I was going to ask him that. How much do you flinch?
No, it very well could be the most frustrating thing I've ever had to experience. And I've probably, the only thing worse would be video lighting on a dark ride. It's it's so frustrating. This is something that's dark for a reason, and a massive amount of light output in a dark place is, number one, it's going to mess up your own personal vision for a little bit, but it's not experiencing the ride the way that the Imagineers and maybe even Walt himself would have wanted us to experience these things. So I'm kind of a big believer that some people put some very hard work into creating these rides and making them look a certain way. If I'm on the Haunted Mansion, for example, and I really want to get that Pepper's Ghost effect of the dancing ghosts, I don't want to have it ruined by somebody else using a flash or a video light. So that's the long answer to your question, I guess.
Right, right. It cracks me up, like when you see people in a theater or a concert or something, and they're as far away as you can possibly get, and they're taking flash pictures of what they think they're getting the stage, and all you're doing is getting a flash of the guy's head that's in front of you. You're not going to see the stage because all you're doing is illuminating that probably 3 feet in front of you or thereabouts.
If that. I mean, there's some really technical things to flash photography that are way beyond this conversation, but the quick version is that it's probably not going to get you very good pictures. It's just going to upset people around you. You're going to have pictures that you just don't like, and I just wouldn't do it.
There you go. So Tim, stop doing that. Worst experience taking pictures at a Disney park.
Wow, that's an interesting question. I wasn't ready for that one. I don't know that I've ever had one. And again, this goes to me being a working photographer. My job is to go out and get pictures and not be frustrated by whatever may be thrown at me. It's my job. If I'm on an editorial assignment, I don't get to go back to my editor and say, oh, well, this person walked in front of me and he was a jerk and I don't have any shots for you. So I personally have developed the patience to wait a second longer, move around a little bit, get a picture. I'm just not personally frustrated. I know that things are out of my control and I can only do what I can do. And if somebody in the background wants to jump around like a fool while I'm trying to take a picture, well, there's not a lot I can do except maybe leave and come back later. But I think this goes back to that point I was talking about earlier of just enjoying the vacation. And you're not really there to take pictures. And you also have to think to yourself, what am I going to do with these pictures? What if my end goal is to print up a nice 16 by 20 print and hang it on my wall? Then maybe, I don't know. This is a question that I just wasn't ready for, I guess. I'm there to have fun, not worried about the pictures that didn't turn out.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. What and I know they're all like your children, but what would be like one of your favorite photos of all time? You got to have something close.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. Otherwise, I'm going to get in all kinds of trouble. But I think every picture I take with my girlfriend in front of one of the icons, they're the ones that probably mean the most to me. They're me at my happiest, not taking pictures, but being in pictures and being there with someone that I really love and I'm happy to spend time with. So what we've done is we've tried to get pictures in front of all the castles that have been any of the parks we've been to. We blow that up. It's a picture that hangs on our wall, and you can't walk around our house and not just see it. And I think, if there's going to be a tip I'd like to give your listeners, it's don't be afraid to get those pictures printed and make them big and get them framed and put them on your wall. Because if you're taking pictures with your cell phone, for example, and you have to physically launch your Photos app and swipe around until you find that picture, it's not going to give you the same joy of just walking through your house and seeing a picture that reminds you of that one time you were in Disneyland Paris with the woman you love on a perfect day. It's just going to bring a smile to your face. If you're flipping through your camera's pictures, looking for something specific, it's just not going to give you that same level of emotion. So my favorite pictures, me and my girlfriend Deb in front of the castles, just enjoying ourselves and having fun.
Nice. Look at that.
Love it.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I would have literally, if she heard this and I didn't say that, I probably would have. But it's all true. I'm not just saying that. I really mean it. Those are my favorite pictures. Those are the ones that do get printed. They're the ones that hang on our walls. They're the ones that always bring a smile to my face.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've told this story before. My wife and daughter have always taken the same picture every year we go at the same spot at the Grand Floridian, and watching that progression of my daughter age and seeing all those pictures we have it hanging on the wall, all these frames of all her growing up from that perspective. And it means much more. Now, no one would know that we're at Walt Disney World, but we know. And it is our favorite photographs. So, a quick question: do you use the Disney PhotoPass photographers.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the greatest things ever. And anytime I want to get, let's go back to those pictures that I said that are my favorites and are pictures that are hanging on my walls. Those are not pictures that I took. I mean, my arms are only so long, so I'm not going to get a great picture of my girlfriend and me in front of a castle. What I need to do is get all my settings right, know that the camera's ready to take a great picture, walk up to the PhotoPass guy or gal, and hand them my camera for a quick picture, and they just do all the work. I found that Disney they're a pretty smart company. They know where all the great places to take pictures are, and they put a PhotoPass person there. And those people are always friendly. They're going to take the pictures that are going to be in your My Disney Experience app, but they'll also take a picture with your camera or your phone. And they're great pictures. They're pictures in good places taken by people whose job it is to take pictures. So yeah, I think PhotoPass is great.
Awesome.
There you go.
Great tip. They're there. Use them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing about using them though is you really don't want to be fumbling with your camera like you've never used it before and hand it to them and expect them to understand your particular camera. There's just too many cameras, too many phones. It's usually best if you know it inside out. You say, okay, just hit this button and everything will work. And then magically it just works.
Great.
Awesome.
Compare the like Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and Disneyland Paris as far as taking pictures in those places.
Wow, Disney parks they're absolutely incredible when it comes to the level of detail that they've gone to create an immersive environment. So I don't know that any one is any better than any other. They're all amazing and they're all incredible. I spend so much time in Disney World that the first time I went to Disneyland, I was more looking at the subtle differences and trying to take all that in. And I was still taking pictures, but I was enjoying those differences. I think one of my favorite things about Disneyland in California and also in Paris, all the parks are amazingly close to each other. In California, you can walk right out of Disneyland and right into California Adventure. You don't have to get on a bus or take a monorail for a half an hour to go somewhere. You just literally walk from point A to point B and you're in another theme park. So I don't know that from a photo standpoint one's any better, but I will say this. I think the Disneyland Paris castle is the most beautiful castle I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
I've heard that before.
It's awesome. It's gorgeous. It's something that, I mean, shoot, if you can get to Paris, get to Paris. It's Paris. But if you can go to Disneyland Paris, it's pretty neat. I was very impressed with it.
Very cool.
Wow. I want to go.
Tim?
I want to go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Next Looper Meet Paris, right?
That'd be awesome.
Monico's buying. He just said.
No, come on.
Monico, if somebody wants to make the leap, I've taken a lot of pictures with my iPhone. They're great pictures, but I want to go to the next level. What's a good next step camera? What could you maybe kind of recommend? I know there's plenty of top of the line, probably several $1,000s ones, but something.
Yeah, absolutely. You could spend as much or as little as you want on a camera. Yeah. It's like buying a car. You could spend as little or as much as you want on a car. My personal preference, for a long time, I've been shooting cameras made by Sony. And there are a lot of great manufacturers. There's Fuji and Olympus and Canon and Nikon, and they're all great cameras. And you're probably not going to go wrong with any of them. But for most of my personal career, I've been shooting Sony equipment for video and still photos. And I really like their mirrorless cameras. You can get into a mirrorless camera for well under $500 these days. And I think that, a good maybe $400 to $500 camera as a jumping off point is great. And then if you decide you like it, then you start to invest a little bit more in your equipment and you just take it to the next level after that. Mm-hmm. But overall, I've had very good luck with my Sony cameras.
Okay. That'd be good information for those out there who are thinking about, maybe I need to up my photography game.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just a matter of how serious do I want to get about it and what will the budget allow, I suppose.
Right.
Well, Tim.
Yes, Bob.
That is all I have for Monico. Monico, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks a lot, guys, for having me on. And real quick before you go, I know there's some pretty big storms heading towards Florida. So for anybody listening that or any of my friends that are down there or people that are going to be traveling, stay safe, everyone. These storms they're not much fun. And I hope everyone does stay safe out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all sending out the best, and everybody take care of yourselves and each other.
Yep.
Monica, where can people find you at?
Well, probably the easiest way to find me, my name is Monico Havier, so I have MonicoHavier.com. That's you'll find my portfolio there, but you'll also find some quick links to my Instagram, my Twitter, all the different things are all right there. So if you could spell my name, you can find my website, and from there, it should be pretty easy to follow me on all the different social media.
Excellent. We'll link that in the show notes as well for everybody.
Great. Appreciate it.
Oh, our pleasure. I'm Tim Scott. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook and our website, ResortLoop.com.
And I'm Resort Loop Bob most places. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, rate us on iTunes, subscribe to the show if you would be so kind. And what's that other little thing we're doing, Tim?
If you're thinking of booking a trip, you can always go to our co-site where Bob and I are co-owners of, and that is ResortLoop.com.
There you go.
Awesome. Everybody, this has been the Gateway to the Magic.
See you, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show, but now you want to share your love of Disney, right? Unfortunately, a lot of our friends, family, and coworkers just don't share the same enthusiasm we do for all things Disney. Well, now MyDizMatch.com has made it even easier with the all-new MyDizMatch apps for iOS and Android devices. Just download the MyDizMatch app and connect with new Disney friends today. And now, for a limited time, you'll get your first month of full membership free just for signing up. Look for the new MyDizMatch apps on iTunes and Google Play and start connecting with real Disney friends today.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
I'm Bob Collar.
This is ResortLoop.com. Bob.
Tim.
How about that open?
Who was the open from?
I know, I forgot to tell you. But was this the Danziger Open?
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're going to do the Danziger Open. I forgot all about it.
I didn't realize it until I started talking.
All right. Let's try that again.
Do we need to hear it again, or are you good with it?
No, I'm good with it.
All right. This is how it goes, Monaco.
Hey, they say you should never learn how the sausage is made.
Oh,
that's right.
That's true.
Right.